This is a perfect example of why we invest county dollars in our arts and cultural institutions. And I am glad to be here as a representative of Erie County with our Deputy Commissioner of the Department of Environment and Planning, Thomas Baines, as well as Dawne Hoeg from Stitch Buffalo, to talk about the impact that our cultural grant program has made for organizations across the region. When people talk about the arts and cultural entities, they often think of the stage. They think of our playhouses. They think of our art galleries and museums. But it's arts and cultural. And when it's cultural, it's more than that. It's more organizations, more entities in our community that have an impact on the quality of life for the people that reside here. And Stitch Buffalo is an example of that. You'll hear very soon from Dawne Hoeg about how in basically 10 years they went from almost non-existence to this beautiful facility that we see here today. Erie County contributed $200,000 to this project, a project that cost a little bit more than $700,000 in total. And we do that so we can invest in our communities. We support organizations that give back in our communities, and as you will hear, Stitch Buffalo is a perfect example of those, especially for new immigrants and refugees who come to our community who have skills, but maybe not the skills that we necessarily think of when we're talking about economic development. So it's important that we take advantage of the skill set of everyone in our community, and that's a perfect example of what they do here at Stitch Buffalo. I'm very pleased that we were able to support this project. There was a reason why we came up with the plan to support arts and cultural institutions with cultural grants, especially smaller organizations, to assist them in their infrastructure. The money for this grant did not go into the operating per se. We have a whole different process for that, but it went to move forward to ensure that they would have this new beautiful facility here on the west side. We have supported in the past many large organizations, many large cultural groups, arts groups, but we didn't support as many smaller ones because it just was a tougher, time-intensive type of process. And what we wanted to do when we passed the cultural grant program a number of years ago is ensure that we could support our smaller to mid-sized organizations with infrastructure grants as well. And that's what was done exactly here. I'm disappointed that the legislature recently took a lot of that money that was left over so that we could support other institutions in the future. We've had discussions on that, and I'd love to be able to rebuild that grant program, but for now we were not able to do it due to budgetary constraints. But this is an example of why we did it in the first place, and I'd like to do it again, is so that we can support organizations like Stitch Buffalo and the work that they do here, which is important work. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Thomas Baines to talk a little bit more about the Cultural Capital Grant Program, as well as some of the other investments that are coming online very soon. And then we'll hear from Dawne about the impact this has had with Stitch Buffalo and the incredible work that's done here. So Thomas?
Sure. Again, Thomas Baines, Deputy Commissioner of Planning and Economic Development for Erie County. As the county executive mentioned, a lot of this grant is designed for those smaller projects and larger projects that these cultural organizations otherwise couldn't get to. And so what my team at the Department of Environment and Planning has been doing is going out and identifying and seeing these projects and really putting eyes and ears as to the specific need for those organizations. So we've looked at, organizations that need HVAC repair. We've looked at window repair. We've looked at, even larger projects like the Color Musicians Club in the Michigan corridor, or even an institute like the Hispanic Cultural Organization on Niagara Street. So our goal is to really make sure that the partnership with the Department of Environment and Planning and these organizations really get to the end goal of what those organizations need. And so that is our focus. And with this edifice here, this is really what we work with Stitch Buffalo to do, so that at the end of it all, we have a beautiful location, an organization that has impact to the community, exactly what the mission of this organization is for. So for those other organizations out there, expect a visit from our team to make sure that we can identify and make sure that we're really achieving the ultimate goal, which is to make sure that Erie County is full of culture and art, and that we continue to invest in it. So with that.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Poloncarz and Mr. Baines. It's a thrill to have everyone here today, this afternoon. My name is Dawne Hoeg, and I'm the Executive Director and founder of Stitch Buffalo. I founded it in 2014. And Thomas, when you were just speaking, I was thinking of when you and Timothy came to 1215 Niagara, where we have been running our community workshop for the past 6 years, I think. I thought, oh gosh, we were so packed to the seams, busting at the seams in that building. And I gave you a tour through that space, and then we took a drive over to this space, and you never know what to expect in moments like that. And I'm so thankful you joined me and us in this endeavor. Just, this will pass. It's very exciting. So thank you for believing in us, and thank you for this grant. Excuse me. It's really a dream come true, not just for me, but all of the refugee women that we serve. We serve upwards of 120 women right now. And over the course of 10 years, since Stitch Buffalo started in 2014, it's probably upwards of 800 refugee women that have come through this organization. And so we have finally landed in a home that supports everything we do. In the background, you can see some of the women working on the industrial machines. And so the belief you had in us when we met that day and the tour we went on, and the investment in Stitch Buffalo's capital campaign early on really launched our successful capital campaign and the beautiful space that we are now in and can service the community in so many ways. We meet at this community table here. Women talk about school, talk about the issues that they're working through in Buffalo, in their new city, and they're making friends, they're building relationships, and that's what we want to do to build the city stronger. In inclusion with the women that bring so much talent. The talent is not just in the textile arts, the talent is in compassion, if that can be a talent, but really understanding of all different kinds of people and the talent in their cooking. And then that helps bring the families together and supports all of us. So with that said, I can take some questions along.
Yeah, we'd be glad to take questions. I think it's what Dawne says, a perfect example of why we did this program. It's making a positive impact in people's lives. And sometimes we forget that when we're handing out dollars or we have check signing ceremonies and things like that, but it's making a positive impact on people's lives, especially some of those who are at the most at risk, which are our newest Americans who come from across the world, many not being able to speak the English language and not knowing what to do next when they get here. But you come to a facility like this, a building like this, not only do you make lifelong friendships, but people find a way to create a better life for themselves. And that's the American dream, all wrapped up in one beautiful building on the corner of Plymouth and Connecticut Street. And we're very proud to have played a small role.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Yes, so what kind of opportunities can people looking to get involved with Stitch are available, and how can this grant that you're receiving benefit that?
So the opportunities that women receive when they come through the door, anytime we're open, is the opportunity to practice their English and have that kind of casual atmosphere and conversation. They have the opportunity to learn skills on the sewing machine, the hand sewing, the embroidery. They have the opportunity to, beyond the skill training, earn some income through the work that they make and then sell in our retail shop and beyond our retail shop. And then they have the opportunity for building community, meeting new friends, having those conversations that women have. When you're a refugee woman in a new country, you can be very isolated. The opportunities are not the same for women as they are for men and for children. And so we are able to provide, in the small way that we do, something beyond the basic path that a refugee woman takes when she arrives here.
women who are new to this country, they get so much more than just a job out of this, or maybe a piece of clothing. I mean, there's purpose, there's friendships, and I guess just talk about how there's so much more than just a job.
Right, so we don't necessarily offer a job. We offer training first. That training can go anywhere in the city for anybody. It's free of charge. And so I think behind me right now, everybody's quiet. But usually we have a sewing class going on. That's a free drop-in sewing class. And they learn those skills. They can take those anywhere. And then beyond that is simply the community building. We celebrate all kinds of holidays and people's lives. We celebrate people's lives. So, you know, what you see in the shop for sale, what we sell, the consigners sell, is, I call it the frosting on the cake, because there's so many layers beneath it that happen here on a daily basis. That's why I come to work every day. Mm-hmm.
Do you have any relationships with any employers that are looking for people with these types of skills? I mean, the things that they learn here, are you able to be a conduit to help them find full-time employment?
We do help with that. We've made connections with various small businesses, and it depends on the skills, it depends on the environment, and the flexibility of work schedule, which doesn't always exist in a medium-sized business to large-scale business. And so I will say the one huge benefit to Stitch Buffalo is the flexibility in the schedule of when you want to come here and how you want to participate.
Okay, if there are no further questions, if there are any off-topic questions, I'll take them to the side.